Hey guys, Abner Miranda here. Today I wanted to talk with you about carry guns. This subject matter is right up there with that argument like 9mm versus 45 versus 40. People are like, Glock 23, Glock 26, Glock 19, Glock, what is it, the 43. And then there's that new shorty, that little skinny Glock that is basically a Glock 19, but it's slimmed down, single stag. I will tell you the simple answer to the best gun for concealed carry is the gun that you can consistently conceal and comfortably conceal. Because if you don't have a weapon that is a comfortable fit for you, you're going to get so irritated by that constant poke that the gun does to you that you're going to end up leaving the gun in the car or leaving it at home. The answer to the inevitable question is, what do I carry? Well, I carry a heavily modified, I used to think it was a slightly modified, but I now realize it really is a very heavily modified Glock 19 Gen 3. I've done all the framework myself, finger grooves, the back grooves, 360 stippling, contouring of the trigger guard. I don't do anything to the slide. I add Vickers tactical floor plates and a Vickers slide stop, slide catch, whatever you want to call it. The only thing internally that I do to this gun is I replace the connector with a Zev V4, which unfortunately is not made anymore. If you have a Gen 5, honestly, don't do anything to it. Maybe contour up your trigger guard just a little bit, even though ironically Glock actually has already made that trigger guard contoured up pretty high. Go ahead and actually round it and Dremel this area a little bit so you can get your middle finger a little bit higher. But man, the Gen 5s, right out of the box, that gun is pretty darn good. Leave it as is. At the moment that you pull that trigger, it comes down to you actually recognizing that you're in a gunfight, getting your shot, taking your shot, man, your trigger connector at that point doesn't matter. You are yanking that trigger so fast and so hard to get those shots on target that honestly, ignore all the Gucci stuff because you're not going to need it. You're not even going to have time to recognize that it's there. But that's a discussion for another day. I think the bigger question to answer is, what is your mode of carry going to be? Are you going to be open carry? If you're open carry, and I mean like flat out open carry, then Glock 17 all the way. Glock 17 on your side all the way. I love the Glock 17. At present, I own I have 5 17s. I think it is. I have 5 Glock 17s and 3 Glock 19s right now. I'm not really sure. Something like that. I really, really like the Glock 17. The only reason that I went to the Glock 19 a couple years ago was that I realized that to appendix carry conceal, 17 is, that's a whole lot of pain because it nails you right here in the notch where your leg meets up to the pelvis. I mean, it was just digging in constantly and it was wearing me out. And when I went to the Glock 19, happiness. Clear left! Women are constantly pushed towards small guns, baby Glocks for women. That is the worst thing you can do to a woman. Gentlemen, if you love your significant other, do not push her toward a small handgun, toward a baby Glock, because what you're doing is you're relegating her to a handgun that is so small there's nothing to hang on to. Oh yeah, but women have smaller hands. That's crap. Don't do that. Not to mention, in a gunfight, the first several shots that you fire, until you actually kind of go, man, I better start paying attention, the first few shots that you fire are just zipping on downrange. I hope that they're hitting a wall, or perhaps hitting in non-vital areas on the bad guy. But you should be aiming for here. But the point is, if your gun only carries 7 rounds, then you've just basically given your significant other a gun that is essentially saying, here, have some failure. Because there really is something out there that is worse than having nothing, and it is having false security. The reason that I carry only compact, I don't go any smaller than compact handguns, is because I have 15 round capacity, 15 plus 1, and then I can also feed it 21 rounders from Magpul. And if this gets into my gun, that means that I am in a horrible gunfight. Okay, that means that I am in a serious, serious mess. Either I'm dealing with a person who's armored up or I'm dealing with multiple people. And to say that now in 2019 is no longer taken as, oh really? You think you're some kind of... No, no, no. Coordinated attacks, guys, they're out there. If you're law enforcement and you're accustomed to carrying service pistols, my suggestion to you is continue to carry a service pistol. Wear it on your side. Honestly, look, open carry, I'm not even going to touch that subject. I used to open carry, which is why I'm not going to touch the subject, because I realized who I was mentally back then and who I am mentally now. And with very few exceptions, I don't want to open carry. I no longer open carry, but there are still some exceptions that I would potentially open carry, which are not going to get discussed here today. But law enforcement, if you're carrying service pistols as your regular, then carry a service pistol as your off-duty. If your agency allows you to have an extra weapon, get your Glock 17 or your Glock 22, your 40 cal, and get qualified on that. And carry that off-duty. Carry the extra one in your bag, in your vehicle. Have the ability to go inside the waistband, outside the waistband, trigger guard holster, which I have with me at all times. I seldom ever use it, but there are some times where I go places where I cannot risk this very slight bulge here to show. That lets a person kind of go, Concealment is a big deal. Printing is not as big a deal as you think it is in certain instances, because there are some people who just think they're Secret Service or something, and they're going to be eyeballing everybody. I've dealt with these people before. Some of them wear badges, which is scary because, well, anyways. Guys, I'm tippy-toeing around issues because having been a police officer and now a private citizen who is constantly in the training environment, who rubs shoulders with new cops, with old cops, with soldiers, with concealed carry practitioners, it is very uncharacteristic of me to go like this, shut my mouth and actually listen. But I do. When I'm at classes and I'm jamming mags, I'm like, beep, beep, beep. Guys, I can hear you from a considerable distance when I'm wearing these. These are old school MSAs, and these are the real deal on audio. I can hear incredible amounts of sound clearly with these on. And it is amazing some of the stuff that I pick up at classes, which is why I say to you boldly, I'm very well suited to be giving this information to you guys. And really what it boils down to is this. The best weapon for concealment is the weapon that you can conceal well. The last thing I'll leave you with is this. There's always a question that's kind of out there about semi-auto versus revolver for concealed carry. Both are perfectly valid. You better understand the limitations of each. For a striker-fired handgun, if that handgun is impeded from cycling in any way whatsoever, and it really doesn't take much to stop a semi-auto handgun. In fact, I'll just show you right here. That right there is just me holding onto the slide and causing a malfunction. It doesn't take much. If you're doing this with a bad guy and you come in contact with your own body when you pull the trigger, it malfunctions the gun. And I've seen this consistently, guys get so hopped up, they come up and they do this. And I actually watched a guy shoot a hole through his shirt one time, which was exciting. Gun got all jammed up, filled with shirt. He had to rip it out, tap, rack. He was done. That's where revolvers come in handy. I forget if it was my captain at Signal Mountain Police Department where I used to work. Anyways, someone at some point in the past told me that in his duty jacket, his little snubby J-frame with the hammer machined off just lives in that pocket. It's a .357 Magnum. It just lives in that pocket all the time. And he says, at the beginning of the season where the jacket comes out, I check the weapon, make sure it's loaded, make sure the ammo's in good condition, and then that gun is in there at all times, all throughout the winter. And he says, so at any time that I put that jacket on and I put my hands in my pocket, I know that I automatically have my hand on a service revolver. And man, that's A1 in my book. I mean, some of you may scoff at that. You don't understand gunfighting. That man is ready to go at all times. There are many different variables. Anyone who just stands in front of a camera and tells you there's a solution for concealed carry, they don't fully understand what they're talking about, or they're pushing a product for somebody. The simple answer to the best firearm for concealed carry is not one particular Glock over another particular Glock, or one particular gun over another particular gun. It is simply this. It is the gun that you can best and consistently conceal, that doesn't wear you out, and that allows you to say, I'm going to wear this gun, I'm always going to wear this gun, it's going to always be on me. I carry my Glock 19 in a drop out of sight torsion from Bravo Concealment. I really like the holster, it works well. Is it the most comfortable thing in the world? No, because there is no such thing as a comfortable holster. Wearing a handgun is a major hardship, you have to get accustomed to it. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.